cue. Clip, 1, 2.
Clip.
Clip. Cue. Curl my eyes. Get my lashes all nice and curled again. Nobody can see them anyway. All right, here we go. Welcome to BravoConfessionals. These are my two best friends. I'm Mel, that's Taylor, and that's Michelle. So what we're going to chat with y'all today, we're going to change it up. So usually we do like daily sort of breakdowns. We'll do the smaller shows like, you know, Beverly Hills and RHONY, or like the two bigger ones that we discuss solo, because there's usually so much to unpack. But what we'll do today, because we've kind of had like a decline in shows with Shaw's ending, stuff like that. So we will start out with Below Deck Sailing Yacht, because I've got a lot to say about Chris. And then who else exists? Vanderpump Rules.
Captain Glenn.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Captain Glenn. He's cool.
He's cool.
He can hang out. Adam can go somewhere else. And then we'll follow up with Beverly Hills and RHONY. So stay tuned. This is just what we do. All right, Below Deck Sailing Yacht. Allow me to switch to my notes, please.
Well, I just want to start off with the Below Deck Sailing Yacht with like on a positive note. How inspiring that charter guest. They had a charter guest that has stage 4 cancer, and all of friends were making this a trip of a lifetime for her. And the entire time they were like, you have no idea how grateful we are. You're truly making her dreams come true. And it was like, oh, like that. I was happy to see that they were doing something like that. It wasn't just like a drama filled charter, but it was genuinely just people being nice and doing something for this woman who was an inspiration. She was living her life like, you know what? Tomorrow is not guaranteed. So live for today.
I think they had a really good time. I love that they got on the hot dog. And I think, is that the first time that we've actually been able to see the hot dog be used?
Yeah, I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah, and they were loving it. They did perfect. The only thing that I would say is I was really surprised with the particular group of people at they were having like a pajama walk-off. So it was either like wear it the best, even though they all look the same. But for me, I would be like, they all look the same.
Yeah. It was just, they were just showing their inspiration as like, who could be the most ridiculous. But I know you have probably something to say. How awesome was Chris?
I mean, I'm just going to say, you know, Chris is like everything. Okay. So just so you know, also Facebook also recommended that Chris and I be friends. Chris and I are friends on Facebook. I know, it's getting serious.
Watch out, Georgia.
I know. You know what? But about that, I just feel like I almost like crawl out of my skin every time she talks about like how much she really, really, really has like this issue growing with Paget, considering she has feelings for someone. And I'm just thinking to myself like, oh, but then there's Sierra, like his legit girlfriend and your supposed friend. So I love Georgia on one hand, but what I'm finding is that she said something about Jenna that really, I think, was actually kind of like, you know, when people say things, but they don't realize that they're actually speaking about themselves. So she said something about Jenna being like half the person that she thinks she is. Well, Georgia said that Madison always complains, and she complains to Sierra intentionally so that Sierra will then go and tell Captain Glenn. But we literally see Georgia do the same exact thing.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so you just did that. Well, then she talks about Paget, and I'm thinking like, okay, so you know he has a girlfriend, and you know, say that's not going to happen, but then you still like give yourself this heartache over like allowing it to happen. And I mean, we're not there, so we don't know that, you know, it could be truly magnetic. It's not really coming through on screen for me. I think I just see him as a guy having a good time and flirting, and I see her as being like, yeah, I'm funny, I'm totally funny. Like,
again, I will always give credit to somebody who tries to be funny.
Yeah. I live that every day.
And I also had over Adam and Jenna.
Yeah.
I want her to get her ass handed to her from Captain Glenn.
So I'm hoping that he does. We know that she's not going to be fired. We know that like this isn't, you know, I mean, there's one charter left. Captain Glenn is so, you know, kind. I think Parker was the only, you know, person that we may ever see him like give an ultimatum to, where really there's no ultimatum. There's like, he's already decided. He's just letting you do it like the respectable way where you just go. But yeah, it's like, I think that when she says that, you know, she wanted to make sure that these guests got like all, you know, the best service, this is going to be the best charter and this and that, all we see, and this could be editing, however, I think it would be really difficult now that we learned from Colin, who we interviewed last week. He told us there's a 24-hour crew. There's a AM and a PM set. So it would be really hard for them to like have something somewhere where Jenna, you know, wasn't being Madison. So, or where Madison wasn't doing what Jenna was supposed to be doing. So if they had it, they probably would have.
Well, it just pissed me off that she was like, oh, okay, Georgia, go and take your 2-hour break. And then she goes and tells Madison, like, okay, I'm going to go lay down with Adam for an hour. I was like, so you're leaving only one person to handle 6-7 people by herself. Like, that's not
who you supposedly want to have like the best experience ever. That would mean like, if you need a break, take a break. But if you don't, let's just pull this one out. Let's like just do everything this one. So
I'm kind of hoping Glenn steps up. I'm excited to see what next week is as their like season finale. So,
you know, and I also wrote, so that's her quote. She says, guests are always happy and that's a result of my guidance. So I think that she literally thinks telling Madison what to do and then making Madison do it, in her mind, that's her level of leadership. That's her, you know, guiding Madison. But it's like, still Madison's the only one doing anything. So
is Madison the second stew or the third? Do we know?
I think she's the second.
I don't know.
I don't know. She's
looked up because she's constantly, George is like, hey, I'm around too if you need me. She goes, no, I asked Madison to do it.
Yeah, so she actually is the second. So you remember one of the episodes, Madison said something to Adam. Adam got upset, told Jenna. Jenna then put Georgia on service. Georgia never does service because she's not properly trained in service. So Madison is the second. So yeah.
Well, whatever. We'll see what
happens. But yes, I did love it when Chris got in the hot tub without his shirt on.
That was pretty all right.
I've got a hot tub in my garage, Chris. Come on down.
He's friends with him.
Okay, we're moving on.
Yeah. Okay, so Vanderpump Rules. What the f is going on with Jax and the excessive working out? I have a theory, and I don't know, but I feel like he got engaged. It was all of this crazy hype up to the wedding, so he didn't really have time for the dust to settle. But now that he's married, now that there is like everything is calm and it's not about him anymore, I think homeboy is actually freaking out at the fact that he is now committed and married to somebody for the rest of his life. And instead of him freaking out on her or cheating, he's going to the gym because he just has to clear his head.
Which,
I mean, good on him.
Yeah, right. It could ultimately, like, so I don't really have an issue with the gym thing, being as that I live at the gym when it's open. Hello, Shire Force, it's get it together. So when my gym is open, I like to do, I mean, as much as possible. I spend 2.5 hours there. I go from 4 in the morning until like 6:30. I usually leave about 6:17, but nobody cares and everybody stopped listening already. So they, at least to this part, you know, I know y'all are listening beyond. Taylor just snipped that out. So no, but I enjoy going to the gym for like hours on end. So I totally get it. And if he is in this headspace where he doesn't know how to properly convey that to her, he's probably trying to not say something that he doesn't mean, or trying to not make things worse by being erratic and out of control and not doing the things that he used to do. So he's found an outlet for it.
Yeah, Jax always is kind of looking for a way to channel his energy. I mean, look at like his Reiki thing. Like he's like literally always looking for something to better himself. And I genuinely think he is. He comes off like a mega douche and a turd, like in social media world. But I think he always honestly is looking for a way to hone in that negative energy before he explodes. And he hasn't found the right route, but maybe the gym's it.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. I honestly don't really see anything wrong with the rage texting either. That's just me, because I consider who he is rage texting. So it's almost like, you know, the buttons of a friend, and like, you know, Schwartz said, he's like, I just usually, you know, I learned like a couple of years ago, you just like read it and you delete it and then you forget it ever happened. It's like, I don't know that these people really recognize mental illness and what it could actually look like in other forms other than I'm sad, because there are other forms of it that won't be conveyed. And sometimes when your friend, and I know this firsthand, when your friend is at the most like point of breaking, they are going to act erratically and do things that you won't even be able to like compartmentalize. You'll just be like, this is like a lot. So he could be nearing what needs to be a break for him. And, you know, instead of stopping and saying, hey, I actually am your friend, check this out, put those cameras away. You're a human, I'm a human, I actually do care about you. They're instead just like fueling it. And I don't understand how Brittany would be cool with these girls after the pool party thing.
Well, yeah, that pissed me off too. And the fact that she called Katie, because Kate, I guess Ariana said, like, well, it was all Katie and Schwartz's idea. She went off on Katie and said, you know, you rage text all the time. Like, why, you know, you should be letting him go. Give him a little bit of a pass. So I kind of found that funny that Brittany actually like stood up for herself in that case. But I just think it was a really douche move. I mean, Jax was literally flying off the handle, which he's done before. Doesn't mean you excuse it, but what they did was having the competing pool parties was it was petty.
It was super petty, and it made me feel for him. I know that the general consensus online is like, don't feel sorry for, you know, like an addict or, you know, someone like that. But it's like, it's only in those moments when they're no longer here that you then turn around and say, wow, I wish that I would have, you know, been better to that person or something. So it's like, just try and be a little bit more human with him. Maybe. Right. You know, even if he doesn't deserve it, just try.
He's got a lot of shit going.
Instead of fueling it with a petty, you know, dueling pool party. Like, think about the
like you're adding more fuel to the fire. Just let it go.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Anyway, so I did want to say, so, you know, you see online Ariana is constantly like, you know, jumping back at people when they bite at her about the lack of furniture, and she consistently says things, but she finally clarified it on Watch What Happens Live that the issue with the furniture was that they had apparently, like, you know, they had filmed, you know, them doing all of this stuff with their furniture and the designer and this and this and that. Well, we don't get to see that, okay, Ariana? We didn't know that. So that's why we're like, why would you want to party at a party with nowhere to sit? You continue to have to rent tables. So I love you, but we didn't know that. So
back
I don't know.
Give us a break.
It's like BYOC, bring your own chair.
Bring your own chair.
Like,
bring
just in
your
the
own
text.
chair.
I got a text yesterday that said that, hey, we're cooking out BYOC. And I'm like, okay. But you just got to let people know. We didn't know.
Okay.
Snoop Dogg. Okay,
Dogg
move on. Okay, Snoop Dogg in the house. Okay, moving on. I don't even think that I wrote anything down for Beverly Hills or RHONY, because it just, I mean, everything's just right there. So
yeah, I got
carry on.
So, first of all, I said Dorit's hair. What the that ponytail was like,
okay, so I saw that, like, I saw it posted on social media like before the episode came out, and I was like, it looks like toilet paper. Like, it looks like somebody took toilet paper and was like, let's make a braid.
So we can blame Dorit toilet paper shortage.
It's her fault.
Fashion.
And then I also had, I think it was funny that Rena's daughters have a clothing line, but they didn't know the name of their stuff.
Oh, and Rena is totally trying to be Kris Kardashian. Can we just say that? Like, this episode, it was like, woo, yeah. There's the same, like, mindset. Momager, yeah.
Momager. Can I just touch back on Dorit's outfit that night? It reminded me of a Robert Palmer video. Something like with the things. She needed like some sunglasses that were like neon, that were like this. And she needed to walk in and be like, fashion. Like, I don't know. It wasn't for me, but I also think that Crocs are everything. So do with that what you will. But you ain't rocking till you're crocking, girl. So yeah, but he or she, whoever, yeah, Rinna, so it was really strange at the dinner when they're talking and she is treating Sutton, but we've seen her do this before. It's like venomous. That's the best way that I know to describe it. When Sutton is trying to like look at her as like, this is my friend, and she is almost acting as if like this friendship that she's had for 7 years is nothing.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
When coming at her.
Yeah, and Sutton says, can you, throw me a sword here, something, to like defend myself, like be someone in my corner, And I think that it was on Rinna in that moment to say, I know Sutton, she wouldn't do anything to harm my daughters, but it's a thing about like integrity, and like it would totally make me think, who do you think I am? Like I thought what? Like it would just have me rolling back into like
questioning everything.
What am I doing here? Like
pissed me off though. I felt like, is that really like you just look for drama in everything that somebody says? That must be exhausting.
Yes.
Like no many housewives have like a drinking problem. Like this is literally like every single time they use anything where she was like, I'm gonna freak out. She wasn't freaking out about anything that has to do with Rinna's kids. She was possibly seeing an ex-partner who she had like a legal situation or something with. Like that was the only tie. But Dorit turned it around saying, I can't believe you said you're freaking out. I can't believe it. So it's like, are we seriously fighting over this? This is like, and she was like, all right, let the mouse go. Let the mouse go. And she just kept saying, all right, Dorit, all right. So
okay, I didn't get the mouse thing. I'm not there. But what I did want was for the producers to throw us back a clip to give me back my money, bitch. Pay him back his money, bitch, about Dorit being chased. Do you remember? It kind of made me feel like that same thing where, like, imagine if you were just somewhere and you saw someone whom, you're quarreling with and, you're not good with. I feel for Sutton. I was like, oh, I feel that, girl. I understand what you're feeling right now. And you're, obviously, you don't have a friend here right now. I mean, Kyle kind of, but not really. But, it just for a second, it was like, oh shit, remember when Dorit got chased and that woman was like, pay him back his money, bitch.
At the pool, right? Wasn't it like a pool?
Yes.
Yeah, they were in the Bahamas.
Yeah, and you just see Rinna, I think it's Rinna, and you just see Rinna and Dorit walking, and Dorit's like acting like, what? Who is this? And this woman just chasing him. Yeah, and she put it on her story on Instagram. But anyway, I just thought it would have been really cool if they had just shown us something to just,
validate.
Accept. Yeah, and just be like, listen, Dorit, you have been here, man. You have been where this is.
Speaking of Dorit, I just want to say real quick, she starts talking about this Buca di Beppo, the restaurant chain. I don't know if you know, I didn't know about Buca until I moved to Ohio, Michelle, and I don't know if you have them in South Carolina, Mel. But it's an Italian restaurant chain.
Unfortunately, I talked about them right before the episode came on, and my husband looked at me and said, "Oh, now you're talking about doing Batman." And I was like, "Listen, I haven't seen this yet."
So she's going on saying like, oh yeah, I'm going into partnership with Buca, and it's like, let's be real. If you really listen, she's getting one room in one restaurant. She's not coming into like this franchise with like her whole big thing. And then the guy that she's talking to, he's like, so she's like, I have an unlimited budget for this. And he was like, I'm not gonna let you bankrupt me too. I was like, oh.
And then after that, she follows up with, we've never had anyone that didn't want to get into business with us. And I'm thinking, but are you really in business with him, or are you just paying him money to decorate a room?
Right. I know, and those rooms are crazy. I had my rehearsal dinner for my wedding was at Buca di Beppo. We had like our own private room, and I'm just like, why does Dorit belong on the wall in this place? It just doesn't make sense to me. But whatever.
I've been to the one in Oak Ridge Mall. I mean, I can't even tell you the amount of times. It was right next to my high school, and we used to go there all the time for different things. And it was pretty cool because it's a lot like this the Spaghetti Factory, which a lot of people from California may know about. They also have one in Arizona. I don't know if they've branched out but the original was in San Jose, California. Anyway, none of this matters. But it legit is like Olive Garden is everything to me. It's a life source. And then there's like Buca di Beppo like slightly above. So I know. Listen, I know. Moving on. So
Michelle's like, I can't handle this. I'm Italian from Jersey.
Here's the problem, Michelle. Where I live, I have a Taco Bell, I have a Chili's, I have Bojangles, something like that. I've got like, I don't even know. There's all this stuff that I'm like, that's all chicken. I don't know, man. I don't know what to do with that. And it's all fast food, and it's all really weird. So yeah, I crave the Olive Garden, okay? When you're there, you are family.
Oh my God. Okay. So Rinna's mom, can we talk about Lois for a sec?
I love Lois.
How she got her age wrong by like 10 years and Rinna called her out. I'm like, let her be 82 instead of 92 if she wants to be, right?
I mean,
she was great for 92 though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's phenomenal. I'm slightly disturbed that she calls her Lois like only Lois. So my mom is Cheryl in amongst, you know, a crowd of people. But when I'm with her one-on-one, she's, you know, mom. So I don't know. That's just me. Lois is a thing in and of herself. We could just follow her on a show.
Yeah.
But,
Get Lois.
I felt bad for her. I felt bad for her having to sit there during that dinner conversation. You could see her in the background sometimes, and her face is just like, why am I here? Like, this poor old lady does not deserve to see these grown women
Which
behaving
is funny.
Like that.
Brenna was like, well, I'm going to take Lois home. She's like, but why?
But what? Yeah, so, I mean, overall, I think that, I don't really know. A lot of people are still sticking to the Vile Kyle thing, but how good was Denise Richards? I am fucking Denise Richards Kyle. Mm-hmm. Or Kyle, or however she said it.
Oh, yeah.
But I was like, oh, moment of silence.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you can't compete.
Which,
I think it's just funny because, like, you know, Kyle's super proud, and I would be proud too. And honestly, I think we've discussed this before, that Kyle is just searching for something to validate herself right now. So this movie thing in her head is like, all of my friends are finally going to see that I'm this big star. And all, like, her friends are, like, already more popular than she is. Yeah, so it's like they're not seeing this grandiose thing that it is to her, which, like, celebrate for your friend. You should be happy for them. But I think Kyle needs to come to the realization that it's not as big as what she is thinking.
Yeah, she called her out like, I am Denise fucking Richards, and I have been on the cover of basically every magazine that you all want to be on. And I was like, nailed it.
And then when
Rinna comes out and is like, yeah, but I was on Playboy, and it's like, okay, not the same.
Showing your hooge, you know, versus like actually having a full-blown part in like a series might be a little different. Being on the ones that aren't in the back with you know, advisory things, it's a little different. To each their own, girl. But I don't know.
Moving on.
Should we go on to RHONY?
Yep.
Yeah.
I am saying this now. I love Tinsley's boxing instructor.
Yes.
Oh my God, I know.
It's like, you are freaking Tinsdale. You are freaking Tinsdale. She goes, well, I'm not. I'm Tinsley. And he was like, what's your name? Dorito?
Yeah, well, we're gonna get Dorita, right? Just imagine that this is Dorita. Right, and then Tinsley's like, Tinsley's like, who's Dorita? And he's like, you know, when did she change her name?
There's only one Tinsdale.
Well, there's not.
None, because I was like, oh my God, I love this guy. You know, he was probably just like, she was like, hey, can I film here? And will you have a conversation with me? He was probably like, yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say, but I can do this. I can do talk.
So I actually looked him up. I looked him up because I was like, who is this guy? He's such a character. He's the gym owner of this Trinity Fitness boxing club in the city. And Leah is like, has been using this same gym for years and years. And I think she might have some like ownership or like some sort of partnership in this boxing gym. Oh, okay. So this guy, and she's just like, okay, people are going to eat this guy up because she's with him all the time at the gym. And so they're just like, who better to put with this guy than Tinsley, right?
I love Can I just say, I almost, and you girls know me better than anyone, you will probably understand this. I almost feel like if I were a guy,
that would be you.
He might be a little bit taller, but other than that, it's pretty close.
We'll fucking do it for Dorita.
Do it for Dorita. Adrian!
Yeah.
Dorita! Okay. I snorted.
I'm crying. You guys are making me cry my own fucking tears.
Okay, so these women, they go to this winery, pumpkin patch, corn maze, mecca plate, whatever. They're there, And of course, like, everyone's drinking. Sonia's like, I'm not gonna drink today, but there's wine, so I'm drinking.
That made me laugh so much. I'm just not really feeling drinking today. I'm just not in the mood. But like, you know, when all my girlfriends are drinking, and then she went to like stage 5, like
asking the like corn maze owner how much money he makes because she wants to go on a date. Like, okay.
Oh my god, I was so
like dropping her drawers, peeing in the corn maze. It was just like, well, there's Sonia.
There she is.
I am obsessed with Leah's breakdown of sober Sonia and drunk Sonia, and she was like, if the two met, they would not be friends. Like, yes, ma'am. They would not hang out ever.
So
oh my
let's
God.
talk about like what's going on. Oh, go ahead.
I
Sorry.
had one more thing about Sonia in the corn maze when she was running through and she was like, free food.
We paid for it. We paid for it.
Oh man.
I'm totally a Sonia, man. We all are. We would just be like, I gotta pee.
I'm like a Sonia Luann hybrid in the fact that I like to get silly and drunk, but I also sometimes might end up in bushes.
Although I do have a friend that bought two tickets to the Dominican Republic with a Groupon. So.
Who could that be? I got it back. Anyway, so
I have to say, I would probably be a mix between Sonia and Bethany, like fun Sonia, you know, drinking, but after vodka. My friends have a nickname at Alter Ego. It's called Kitty Cutthroat. So I turn into.
Oh boy. Oh my god. I still can't even handle the Groupon thing. I swear. And there's something wrong with when I tell it because nobody laughs. And I'm like, she didn't even have the app.
I literally had to go to Groupon.com for just 2 trips to the Dominican Republic for me, 2 separate months. Trips for one. I don't know who thinks that's a bad idea, except when you wake up in the morning and there's $0 left in your bank account. It's fine. Everything's fine. They have a really good return. They have a really good return policy.
And then whenever they ask how much were the tickets, and I said, I don't know. She was $30 overdrawn though.
Sometimes you just need a trip, you know? So,
risk it for the biscuit, you know what I mean?
So can we talk about Dorinda's issue with Tinsley? Because she is on something else. When she says that she can't edit her dumbness down to Tinsley's level, I'm like, you need therapy. You need something to just like, her anger towards her, I feel like is so misplaced.
And I don't think it's that Tinsley is dumb. I think it's that she's just vapid. Or just like a difference in life, you know,
mental
and
yeah,
just where they're at is different, and what is important to Tinsley is not important to Dorinda, so don't bother with her.
Well, I feel like Dorinda sees something in Tinsley, and like her main issue is like apparently what Scott pays for, or that Tinsley doesn't own anything or whatever. Is it like, are you jealous over the fact that there's this younger, beautiful version who has this man in her life who's willing to do all this stuff, and she doesn't really have to work too hard for it? But isn't that what Dorinda had? I want to call her Dorito now. Isn't that what Dorinda had with, not John, what was his? Richard.
So, okay, you just made me think of something. Okay, imagine this. What if this is the root of it? Okay, so she's not admitting to Scott having paid for everything. Scott, let's just imagine that he's the package that pays for all the stuff. What if Dorinda is pissed off that Tinsley does not claim that in a show of respect to him? As if, like, say when Richard, you know, if that was her situation with Richard, she would almost turn that around as being like disrespectful. But she's not saying it that way because that might be like a pride thing for her. Right. But she's almost interpreting it as like disrespectful that Tinsley doesn't claim Scott for these nice things and these gestures and things like that. Yeah. So
listen, if I had that life, and I would be screaming it from the rooftop, like, I am so blessed. I am so lucky. I hit the lottery. Found this great guy who is very loaded, you know,
Hashtag blessed.
right. Like, thank you. Please don't try and take them away because I don't want to lose this.
Yeah. You would just be
thought.
like, you would just be like super pumped. Like, you know, just like, you know, you are about kids or, you know, dogs or, you know, whomever you have in your life that, you know, you're super proud to be with and around, you would just be like, that's my mom. That's my fucking mom, you know? But she's just kind of like, I mean, Scott doesn't pay for anything. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, but just go over there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that could be potentially the issue.
What made me like cringe almost was her saying to Tinsley, "You're invisible and my gum will last longer than your and Scott's relationship."
Well, of course it will, because Dorinda's...
I had Tinsley hit the nail on the head. Okay, Dorinda, page 6 had to tell her rather than Dorinda. So I guess so page 6 had released that her and John broke up.
Yes.
And Tinsley called her out and said, well, it's funny that I'm hearing it from page 6 and you didn't come to me and tell me. Like, why do I have to do that to you?
Yeah.
And that's when she was like, well, you're invisible. And I was like, why do you want this girl to open up and tell you everything when you are not doing it and paying her the same respect?
Yeah, you can't expect that.
And I said that earlier. I was like, you know, I remember in a previous episode, I said that, you know, they're not homies like that. Like, you know, why would Tinsley tell, you know, deep things that matter to her to someone who doesn't really reflect that she cares, nor that she would keep a secret or that, you know, she would hold on to something as though, you know, with care. So it's like, why would this girl tell you, like, you know, really important things to her when all that she knows from you is that you turn around and just like, and flip.
Yeah.
So
like a dog with a bone,
you know. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's all I had. Oh, I did have Luann judging Leah's apartment. I loved her quote.
Oh,
about the one being the 1%, or like how like she got it on her own. Like she didn't have to marry a man to have all of her stuff, and her plants are on the ground, and I love it.
I was really uncomfortable. I was really uncomfortable because I thought, okay, so one time I had this girl come to my house, and I thought this is a shit show. She's going to think it's shit. Like, what is this girl doing in here? Mind you, my apartment used to be decorated like Halloween 24/7 year round. Anyway, so I was like, maybe I've upgraded. Okay, this girl came over to my house and made me feel like dirt in my own house because she treated it like, oh, wow, there's a lot going on here. So I felt like cringy as Luann was trying to like even just say, so it took like 5 minutes, like me talking, for Luann to get out how she felt about the apartment versus just being nice and saying, I thought it was lovely. It was nice. Right. Not my style, but that's fine. You know, that's all you got to do.
I don't have to live in her house. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also really sad because Leah is sitting there sick and she's saying in, you know, confessional that, you know, she feels like she and, you know, Luann have like some sort of kindred kind of awesome thing going on. And then Luann is like taking the same amount of time during a confessional to try and figure out how to say it was a pile of shit. So,
which like, to be fair, like Leah's apartment is still really nice for a New York City. Like, let's be real clear here.
Those tiny house shows.
Yeah.
You have that amount of room, but you're not planning. You weren't supposed to have a tiny house. It's like you're sharing a bathroom with your kitchen and the sink. Like, New York City apartments are no joke. So the fact that she actually had like a 2-bedroom and a living room, like she's doing all right.
She's doing good. You keep doing you, Leah.
In San Francisco, I paid $1,114 to rent a legit room that also included a kitchen and a bathroom and stuff like that. And I mean, it was really lovely, but it was insanely priced. So it was like, but it's still like we had a front of a house and then there were 2 separate apartments, which is how it works in San Francisco. But it's like, yeah, to see her kind of downing someone like that, like not everybody is, you know what I mean? She could legit be Jackie from New Jersey and have a shit ton of money and just buying pizza for a birthday party. Like,
she seems very low key. And I wonder how what is it? Married to the Mob or something clothing line that she has?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I will say I don't understand her brand.
I know.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if, you know, if she sent me something to wear, you know, but, you know, hey, Leo, what's going on? I have tattoos and I'm, you know, self-defecating. So, you know, but I'm really not. That's gross. I wear diapers. So She legit.
I wipe my own ass.
I wipe my own ass. Yeah, but I just think like, if she really does have a lot of revenue coming in and a lot going on for herself, and if she truly is a part of this gym, which, is a great franchise, people are obsessed with being in shape. It's probably just that she's super humble. I mean, shit, she was willing to give that plant a shot. She was like, I'm trying to keep this thing alive.
Right.
So anyone that doesn't throw out, a dying plant, they're good in my book. Mm-hmm. And that's the word here.
On that note.
Well, yeah, so you guys, what you'll start to see from us now, we might be slightly unstructured when it comes to direction, what we talk about. We are not going to be simply just a straight up recap of the episode that you just watched. We are three best friends. We don't care if, she looks amazing in her lighting, and if, she's hammered, I mean, we're just going to bring it. So there's been, there's just been a little bit of change up, and we're just here hanging out, man. So we appreciate, you're not a man. I'm not calling you a man. Well, Chell disappeared.
Where did Michelle
so this
go?
is great.
My mother-in-law just called me.
Well, she'll call you back.
I'm sorry, Barbara. I'll call you back.
I'm busy, Ma. So, yeah. So if you guys, we hope that you like it, but we're just bringing you our breakdowns of shows, with a little bit more insight. We're just having a good time. So
just having fun.
We're having a really good time. We all have really busy schedules.
This conversation would be happening even if we weren't being recorded.
It's true.
Yeah.
We might just be in the bathroom peeing while we're doing it, but it's fine.
On FaceTime, mind you, on FaceTime. So just so y'all know, I am really bad about going to the bathroom on the phone. I don't care. And I don't wear a diaper, so just so you know. But yeah, we legit, we have to tell ourselves throughout the week to stop talking about certain things because then, we can't do this. So, but so just, if you notice a change up from previous shows, it's just due to, us just enjoying what we're doing.
Perfectly said.
That's it.
Okay. And so this week, well, first of all, we were talking about New York. This is getting posted tomorrow. But today, when we're recording, is actually Luann's birthday. And even though we like to talk trash, we should also say, happy birthday, Luann.
We do love Luann.
And you're never
Hey, Google.
You would judge
Hey, Google. Play Money Can't Buy You Class by Luann de Lesseps.
Money Can't Buy You Class by Luann de Lesseps. Sure. Playing on Spotify.
Taylor, you'll just have to edit this so that it goes much, much faster.
We're having a dance party for Lou's birthday. Woo! Birthday, Lou!
Okay, Google. Shut down.
Like, you guys like that song way too much.
I was just doing it for a birthday.
Michelle.
What?
Michelle.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
It's not anywhere on my Spotify until now. Okay? Neither is good as gold, girl.
Listen to it every time Jared comes in and goes, June, Hannah.
Jean, Hannah.
Hannah, June.
Hannah, Jean. All right.
All right. So we'll see you guys again this week.
Thanks for sticking it out.
Talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right.
We also have to add in, make sure we let them know that David will be with us.
Oh, wait, well, we're still recording.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
You're still here. Our friend. Oh, do it.
Oh,
Okay.
What?
You froze, and you're still frozen. It's a good look.
Kind of would say.
Now you guys.
Which, by the way, did you see Watch What Happens Live when Tinsley froze and she was like, Taylor,
I'm gonna lose it.
Taylor, go into the living room. Oh, Taylor left.
Oh my god, ET phone home.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
Oh, we're still recording.
Why is my microphone muted? Am I muted?
Oh my god, no, I can hear you. Oh my god, now you're gone. Where did everybody go? Hello?
Yeah, we're having David Yontef on next week. So, we'll see if we get Taylor back and maybe she'll want to join us.
Boom. Okay, we're leaving. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
I'm ready if you're ready. So much love in this heart of mine.